Coming up on a very special Halloween Up at Noon Live, Harley Quinn is a very popular Halloween costume this year. Hot dogs may have human DNA in them, and we are talking to Metalocalypse's Brendan Small. All that and more right now on a very spooktacular Up at Noon.
Welcome home, ladies and gentlemen. This is Up at Noon Live with me, Brian Altano, and my best friend, Max Scoville. It's Halloween! It's the greatest time of the year. These are our actual Halloween costumes. You're having a Star Wars themed Halloween costume party.
Yeah, I'm going way overboard with that.
Yeah.
Turning my kitchen into a big old weird spaceship made out of recycled materials.
Yep. I'm going as like a
fog machine.
I'm going as like a dirty dog Chewbacca B-boy thing. I got this boombox and everything like that. This is gonna be just a good time. This is probably our best show ever. It hasn't started yet,
and pretty good.
It might get totally screwed up. But we've got Brendan Smalls here from Metalocalypse. We've got some friends over here from Loot Crate. They're gonna show us how they pack those magical, wonderful boxes with cool toys and awesome swag every single month.
What's in the box?
That's right. What's in the box? You can watch the show right here on IGN.com. You can also watch it on YouTube, Twitch, PS4, Xbox One apps, Roku, Classmates.com. There's a pop-up window in the corner of that website.
You want to learn about your genealogy? Because there's a lot of places you can do that.
That's right.
Were you descended from a weird old tree?
Uh-huh.
That'd be weird. I think I am.
Maybe you are. You can also tweet questions at us using the hashtag #UpAtNoon or chat with us in the comments on the show. Use the hashtag #UpAtNoon. Ask us questions. We will answer them. We have a whole bunch of questions.
Very difficult to try to track everybody talking to us from the various ways that you can watch the show. We'd like to thank our sponsor this week, Haunted Honey Hams.
Dun, dun, dun.
When you're looking for spooky meat, who are you going to call? Haunted Honey Hams.
Funny story about that picture is it just said hams, and I realized how disgusting a ham looks when it's that large.
If you ever want to recreate a blurred out nude image of something, or like make like fake censored porn, just use cold cuts and just pixelate it. It's a great trick. Weird Photoshop workarounds there. So yeah, like as we mentioned, Brendan Small, creator of Metalocalypse, is going to be here. He's going to be. We've got some packages to give away. I believe they're Rocksmith Metalocalypse packages, so you can learn how to basically play like you're in Death Clock. That's pretty cool. That's coming up real soon. Also, a signed version of his record by his band Galacticon, I believe. Really cool guy. If you ever watched, home movies or Metalocalypse, like he's a neat dude. Speaking of neat dudes, one of our did we not write down the name? Did we not write down the name of the nice guy?
It's Joe Garcia.
Joe Garcia?
Yeah.
Joe Garcia. Is that right? Is that the right name? Is it Joe or John? You knocked your thing over.
I almost showed
One
you
of our
the
wonderful
Apple
viewers decided to do something we were actually thinking about doing ourselves. WWE 2K16.
www. It's funny when you do
The
that.
wrestling game just came out, and he decided to recreate us in the game and then make us do weird poses that we probably wouldn't do in real life because we're awkward. Let's take a look. Let's do it. There we go. All right.
Well, look.
The following tag team contest is scheduled for one fall. On the way to the ring, Rude Boy, Max, and Big Bad, Brian.
Four of WWE's finest squaring off in what will assuredly be an exciting tag team encounter.
There's no denying that this is a tremendous tag team combination. Reminds me of the old APA.
Isn't that great?
It's weird to see us doing exercise.
It's weird to see what it would look like if we went to the gym and maybe read different or less books. Anyway, that was cool. This is Jacob Shin. You are VP of Marketing from Loot Crate.
Yes, sir.
Loot Crate, what is Loot Crate? For anybody who apparently this is their first time on the internet in 2015.
Wow, that would be, those people would be hard to find. Loot Crate is a monthly subscription. You receive a crate every month filled with merchandise from a lot of the more popular franchises and the brands that we partner with. So the likes of Marvel, DC, and Back to the Future was in our most recent crate.
A lot of people were talking about Back to the Future recently. It's a good month to you clearly planned this ahead. It wasn't just sort of like, what's on sale? Let's throw it in the box.
Right. I mean, Back to the Future Day only happens once, right? So you got to capitalize on that. Our team at Loot Crate, of our merchandisers, they're planning 6 to 12 months out for the
Wow.
theme specifically of really it's not just items in a box. It's the narrative and it's the storytelling of what really makes a fun experience when you're unboxing, and all of it has to kind of tie together and make sense.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting thing to have in this day and age because like everything is so digital now.
Yeah.
And like we don't get mail anymore. We don't get physical mail.
Right, right.
But there's something really special about that. So when you get a box in the mail and it's full of stuff and you don't know what it is, that's like, it's like you're getting presents for just
Absolutely.
thousands of people.
Right, and our customers always, they love to say it's like Christmas every month. Right? Who doesn't like Christmas every month?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, so how do you do this? You plan this for months ahead, but you're also doing more themed boxes, kind of specifically based around properties?
Yes, so our main business is the monthly subscription, so we love to delight our customers and watch them unbox their crates every month. But we also partner closely with folks like Activision or Bethesda and Warner Brothers with specifically crates that are tied to movie releases, major video game launches. And
Hey, it's Sam Witwer.
TV is Sam Witwer, no less.
Yes, so we just went live with our national TV commercial, and Sam Witwer is our superhero. And so going back to the themes, we have a Call of Duty crate coming up with the game launch. Mass Effect launches next week, and we have a few other aces in the hole for December. So I'm not at liberty to share those quite yet, but those will be pretty exciting. So you'll want to stay tuned for that.
So now, how are you able to sort of gather all of these different pop culture elements in one box? It seems like a lot of these things would sort of be at war with each other, but you guys happen to make it fit. I mean, you're dealing with some of the biggest properties in the world.
Sure. So again, this is why we plan so far out, so that the narrative makes sense. And so when our customers and when you guys unbox it, you automatically get the connection. So it is a lot of, and oftentimes we have too many good things to choose from, and so it's actually a good problem to have. We have 20 different options. What are the 5 to 7 things that go into this month's crate, or in future months' crate? And so it's really, I mean, it's really not even work. It's not fair. Are you
the guy that has to call up HBO and be like, hey, we can't put that
Game
exclusive True Blood Series 8 spin-off comic
I unfortunately am
in the box
not the one. Peter, our head of merchandising, he is the guy that has to deliver the bad news sometimes. But
head
again,
of heartbreaks. Right.
But we have many months, and we also have exclusives that are coming out. So it's there are no shortage of opportunities for us to deliver crates.
So you guys have definitely gotten much bigger as this is going on. Have you found that like dealing with certain manufacturers and publishers and rights holders that they've kind of been like, oh yeah, we're listening now, as opposed to maybe earlier on it was like, how long have you guys been doing this?
So we just celebrated 3 years.
Okay.
And a lot of conversations are coming inbound as well. So we have a lot of great partnerships with most of the major studios as well as video game publishers and really interesting franchises. So these are all great conversations to have. And again, we have, I think, the opportunities to choose, pick and choose from some of the greatest brands that are out there. So it's really just a lot of fun for us to have those conversations and also explore what an exclusive limited edition crate might look like.
Okay. Now, can you tell us any secrets today? Any surprises or special treats or exclusives or anything of the sort?
So you've seen the commercial. So that'll start airing this week. We also will be releasing our anime crate, which is a subscription, and our customers have been asking us to put together an anime collection for months and months. And so after much R&D, and it's important for us to get the tone of the crate right. So we've poured a ton of time into research and development and just really getting a good sense of what the customers want. So that will go live in 2 weeks.
Why don't you? It could have been like a bento box of anime. Did you consider that, or you went with a crate?
We considered it, but we again we're known for Loot Crate as a brand, so we want to stick to what we're known for. And
also, bento boxes have raw fish.
This is true.
Probably
That would be
spoil.
kind of, right.
That's more of a Blue
right.
Apron joint.
Every month is 60% dry ice.
Right. And our customers internationally may not get it when it's still fresh, so that would be a problem.
Now, speaking of the boxes, one of the things I really appreciate that you guys have started doing more is, and to me, it sort of reminds me of like growing up and getting Happy Meals, where Happy Meals came in this box that would also turn into ramps or a play set for, it was like a French fry smelling playset for your cars.
Right.
But you guys are doing
little
cool
toys.
stuff. Yeah, you guys are doing cool stuff with the boxes themselves now.
Yes.
putting drawings inside them, turning them into Gotham City and stuff like that.
Yep.
This is a treasure box.
This is
really
actually
awesome.
so this is from a couple months ago. This is actually an augmented reality game. We published and we had our internal team develop a game specifically for this crate.
Yeah.
And I wish I could show you on my mobile phone. It wouldn't do it justice, but we wanted to see what it would feel like for us to create a mobile app game, and it was a ton of fun. We got a ton of great feedback from our customers. So this opens up a whole new world for us and to explore and then see really what this feels like in the future. So it is a part of the entire narrative as to not only do you receive it and you open the crate and you receive the products and you have fun with it, but you get to play with kind of the virtual reality or the augmented reality side of things. And it all ties nicely in with our theme each month.
It's cool.
Now,
what's in this box?
I gotta ask you
Can we
about
open this
the.
Oh, this one is, I think this one is empty, but
It doesn't sound empty.
Yeah, there's something in there.
You're lying.
You're lying.
I
There's
don't
a
think you
treasure
know.
in
You
there.
say you know about crates, but
these are, so
yeah.
each month comes with a limited edition pin. So for those of you who are collectors, you can't find these anywhere else. So
I love you. You got probably Loot Crate fanboys who look like the kid from Up.
Yeah.
They just got.
That's
Here,
right.
take a look at these.
Right.
They're like different little themed ones.
Yeah.
That's for helping an old
Those are
lady
cute.
across the street.
Yeah. The flux capacitor and
Right.
Venom's mouth.
Yep.
Now, Funko Pops.
Yes.
You guys are working big time with these guys. I collect Amiibo, which you guys connected with for a minute there, right? You were doing a few monthly boxes. This is like Funko Pops have become the thing that's basically impossible to collect everything.
Right.
And you guys are sort of enabling that addiction, but in a really cool way. Like I had an Emmett Brown on my desk, and you guys just released this new one, which he's got the jumping gigawatts in his hand. So we're unboxing on the fly here.
Right.
Sorry, collectors.
So how do these? Now, do these guys come to you with the idea of what they want to do for the month in creating these specialized Loot Crate exclusive Funko Pops?
So it's
That's not canon, by the
This
way.
happens in my fan fiction
that's
about
never
Doc Emmett
happened
Brown
in-
when he rides his hoverboard. It's Doc Emmett Brown, pro skater. He's real good at tricks.
I like there's a mirror down there in case he falls. He can see himself on the floor.
So it's pretty. We're pretty flexible. So again, we're planning 6 to 12 months out in terms of themes, and so we'll go out and our team will go out and scour the earth and trying to source the right products and the right mix of merchandise. And oftentimes it is an exclusive. So as you can see on the box here, it's a Loot Crate exclusive. And given how many customers we have, we need to provide a ton of lead time for them to manufacture 500,000 of these units, and so it's so a lot of conversations happen many months out, and whether it's Funko or QMX or whomever, we are having a lot of exploratory conversations as to here's what we have on tap for 2016. What products do you have that might be a fit, vice versa, and then what can we have you manufacture exclusively for us?
Can you give us the world's tiniest hint of the partner you're most excited to work with in the future?
Ooh, I don't want to. I don't want to alienate.
slimmest hint.
Oh man.
Alienate?
Alien?
Alien? Maybe it's Wayland Yutani? I don't know.
People might drop dead if I mention anything. So
Okay.
So there's
The Dropping Dead. That's a new show on AMC this fall. It's about people that keep falling.
Zombie dubstep.
Right. And there are things in the stars that I can't tell you about. So
Stars!
yeah. So
The channel. They got that Spartacus show with Xena. You all want a box
exclusive.
from that.
Right.
So I hear Dead and I hear Stars, so I'm excited about this. I'm very excited about this. Those are two
aliens,
good words.
monsters, and dead people. That's yep.
Sounds like fun stuff. Well, Jacob,
me
thank you
just
so
tease
much
it
for
out.
joining
Yeah,
us.
thanks for having me, guys.
Loot Crate. It's Loot Crate. Look it up on the internet. You want some toys in the mail every month? Put them on your desk if you have a desk.
Or we'll get you a desk.
You could build a desk using the boxes over the course of a year.
Now, speaking of pop culture, we've got something very special we put together. I used to host a show a while ago where I would recommend things to people based on what they might be interested in. Kind of a pop culture Loot Crate in itself. I've decided to do something similar. It's called Cram Session. Let's take a look.
With so many games and movies and comics and shows and books and toys and albums and other pop culture stuff, it can really be downright overwhelming knowing where to start, but I'd like to help. Welcome to Cram Session. I'm Max Scova. Halloween is happening any minute now, and it's that wonderful time of year when everyone carves funny faces in pumpkins and hangs up fake cobwebs and gets in arguments about whether or not candy corn is disgusting. Personally, I think it's really dreadful, but I still like it. You know what else is dreadful, but which a whole lot of people really enjoy? Horror movies and books.
and games, and comics, and TV shows, and really a whole lot of other kinds of horror things. So let's talk about those. Now, I have mixed feelings about horror. I was a really wussy kid growing up, and I'd get scared easily, but I always liked spooky stuff. Monsters, ghosts, the darker side of the supernatural. I always really thought that stuff was awesome, but I never really enjoyed the feeling of actually being scared. So I figured I'd run down a few recommendations of things that are really creepy, but not straight up your pants terrifying. Guillermo del Toro has made some legitimately scary movies, and a lot of people were disappointed by his most recent project, Crimson Peak, because it wasn't scary enough, which is probably because it's not supposed to be a horror movie. It's a gothic romance. Del Toro said so himself, and it was just a victim of bad marketing trying to cash in on Halloween timeliness, just like this very video. Meanwhile, Pride and Prejudice and Zombies is coming out next year, which will probably do really well. If Crimson Peak had just been called a Jane Austen novel, but with some really spooky ghosts, it might have had a different reception. That said, it's a gorgeous movie and it has some of the best set decoration I've seen in a movie in ages, not to mention some legitimately terrifying monster designs, as well as a generally eerie tone. If you also found yourself drawn to the hoop skirts and top hats, black and white and red all over aesthetic that Crimson Peak plays with, you should do yourself a favor and pick up Emily Carroll's graphic novel Through the Woods. It's a collection of scary comics that do a great job of tapping into that feeling of being scared as a little kid. Remember that? Her drawings are simple and the dialogue is sparse, which, like some of the best horror, allows your imagination to fill in the blanks. Edward Gorey is another illustrator who's known for tackling the macabre with a limited palette and a few words, and if his name doesn't immediately ring a bell, his style should, since he's been hugely influential to everything from Tim Burton movies to 9 Inch Nails videos. He's real goth. If you're curious, check out Amphigory. It collects 15 of his shorter works into one large volume. And if you like Gory's aesthetic but want something more interactive, you should check out Neverending Nightmares on Steam. It's a psychological horror game that leans heavily on the psychological. It draws from creator Matt Gilgenbach's own struggles with obsessive-compulsive disorder and depression, which sounds like a way more interesting video game opponent than plain old monsters at this point. One of the biggest disappointments in recent gaming history was the cancellation of Silent Hills, the would-be collaboration between Hideo Kojima, Guillermo del Toro, and, as it was recently revealed, master of horror manga Junji Ito. If you want to rub some more salt in the wound and imagine what Silent Hills could have been like, check out his manga, Uzumaki. It's about a town where a bunch of weird bad stuff keeps happening, and it's real creepy. If you want an American comic that's also real creepy, check out Witches by Scott Snyder and Jock. As the title would suggest, it's about witches, but they're like actually scary witches. Snyder wanted to make a story that revolved around that feeling of being a little kid playing in the woods and feeling like you were being watched. Since you guys are still watching me talk about being watched, you should all go watch It Follows, which, in spite of how it might look, was released this year. I think, like Crimson Peak, a lot of people saw It Follows hoping for an old school, cut repeatedly and dried slasher flick, and got something a little heavier than standard popcorn fare. It Follows reminded me a lot of Drive, but with horror tropes instead of car chases, and much like Drive, it's got a distinctly retro aesthetic and an incredible soundtrack, and it's got a lot more going on than you might think. Speaking of soundtracks, I don't think I know anyone who's ever actually been scared by music, but if you're looking for something to listen to with an unsettling vibe, check out the band Fever Ray, another example that not all electronic music sounds like the stuff they play in nightclubs. Check out the creepy video for If I Had a Heart and go listen to the songs Concrete Walls and The Wolf, which you might have heard in the recent trailer for Far Cry Primal. If you're trying to throw a Halloween party ever and you want it to actually sound scary, Fever Ray is a much better bet than Thriller and the Monster Mash, though it's probably a lot harder to dance to. Anyway, those are my spooky recommendations for you. Why don't you guys recommend some stuff to each other in the comments? Conversely, candy corn? Disgusting, delicious, or both? Discuss amongst yourselves. And hey, if you like me recommending stuff to you, why not recommend this very video to your friends? Take it easy, guys.
Nice work, Max.
Thanks.
It's good to see that show return in some weird roundabout way.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's a brand new show that has never had a single
never been
predecessor at all. But yeah, I hope you guys like that. We'll be doing that more, hopefully every week. I like doing that. I like recommending things to people. We've got a very special treat right now. A lot of you guys may be familiar with the work of Brendan Smalls. Most recently, his show Metalocalypse, which is on Adult Swim, about a group of musicians who like to make a lot of different noises with their instruments. That show has kind of come to an end, and Brendan is trying to get it back on the air. Brendan Smalls, everybody. Hi, Brendan.
Hi, how are you? How do you do? Thanks for having me. Yes, I'm not trying to do anything. It's really strange. These fans that keep bothering me are trying to do something, and I said, okay, I'll help you for this 1 month. Try to get this whole thing together. So that's what we've been doing for this month. We're just getting a lot of noise and turning a lot of heads with this Metalocalypse Now campaign.
So what happened exactly? It kind of just ended sort of anticlimactically, or?
Well, no. What happened was I did a big rock opera, like a 1 hour long rock opera, with the intention of finishing the show. In fact, that was how I pitched the rock. I was going to finish the whole show with the rock opera, but the network said, no, don't finish it. Do that at a different time. You don't want. They said you don't want to push the button on this, and I said, okay, very well. I'll leave it open, and I'll tell the final piece of the story later. And then, a lot of financial problems happened with Adult Swim, and they kept on saying, yeah, we'll do it at some point. We'll do it at some point. And I said, at some point, I got to start doing other stuff because I'm not going to keep asking. So in that time, fans have started to drive me insane by bothering me every day. And I said, look, here's what I think is a really good idea. Hulu has the streaming license for the show. Adult Swim is interested in co-financing. Why not create like a blind date with those guys? And I said that on ultimateguitar.com when I was just doing a fan interview. And so what happened after that was huge amount of tweets started going out, and then a very organized group of fans came to me and said, what would it really take to make this a serious campaign? And I said, numbers, because that's what people respond to are numbers. And so now we have a petition that's over 67,000 people.
Wow.
Who basically have promised to go subscribe wherever the show ends up. And so I realized 65,000 in streaming numbers actually is a pretty big deal. Mm-hmm. And this is a series, so it would stream over a few months. And so financially, I mean, we got really big numbers. We're getting 800 or 900,000 people per week on reruns, which is bigger than network numbers. It's strange. Our show is still very, very strong and has a gigantic fan base of undying fans who buy all the products, and they're like they're the demographic that you wish you had, and they're sitting there dying, starving for something. And we've got something. And I said, you know what? I'd love to finish this thing and get it done the right way. And we're just giving it the old college try. Worst case scenario, we go down swinging.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. It's honestly like it sucks to have that kind of that frustration dealing with maybe like an older platform for media, and the internet is a place where so much kind of like more weird stuff can thrive, and it's so how do we make this happen? Where's the petition, first of all?
The petition is at metalocalypsenow.com, and you just go there and you sign, and you basically say, yeah, I would follow this show somewhere. And that's what's happening right now. We're finding through this research. By the way, we have like a diagnostic and analytic team tracking all the numbers. We have millions of clicks, millions of impressions, but the real important thing, the most important thing that's going to change, I think, a network head's mind are the petition numbers. That's, to me, where the real, like if I'm running a network, that's what I want to see. I want to see how big an audience really is there. And we've got something that I think it just equals money at the end of the day. And the only reason not to do this is if you hate money. That's what I've been saying.
That's true. Now, how many times a day do you find yourself refreshing that petition page? I know how exciting that can be. Yeah.
I have other things I don't want to, that's for other people to do. For me, I have other things. I have to sleep. Mm-hmm. I have to just eat pizzas and stuff like that. So I try to stay offline as often as I can. I try not to have the Twitter addiction because I need my thumbs and hands working for guitar playing, and that'll just kill my wrists.
I never thought about it like that. That's actually very
important. My thumbs for other things. Now you also have a solo album, right?
I have a solo album that I put out that I believe we're going to give away. It's a record called Galacticon that I did with some amazing musicians, including Gene Hoglan and Brian Beller, who are also parts of Death Clock. By the way, this is how strange this Death Clock phenomenon is. We've sold 1 million records of a band that does not exist. This is ridiculous. We've got a huge audience. That's what I keep saying. This is a month where we just get to brag about the stuff we've done.
Do your victory lap, man. I mean,
this is a worst case scenario. We just brag about how successful our product is.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. I don't get to do this that often, so this 1 month I'm gonna do it, and then I'm gonna stop. But in the middle of doing Metalocalypse, I put out a solo record that is this crazy outer space intergalactic kind of opera thing. That's a really fun story. And there's a lot of fun guitar playing, and it got a lot of great critical acclaim. So somebody is going to get that as a gift.
That's badass. I fully support space rock and space metal and that sort of thing.
A lot of it. There's like this record is not as death metal-y as Death Clock. It's a little bit more melodic. You have melody and vocals, and there's a little bit more Queen and ELO, and then meets Weezer and Soundgarden, and with double kicks and low-tuned guitar. So it's a really fun playground for me when I was only doing just hardcore death metal with no melody in the vocals and just pretty much guttural rapping.
Now, you mentioned doing other things. Obviously, that's one of the other things. Do you have do you have stuff you want to be doing post Metalocalypse?
Oh yeah, I mean that's what I'm doing right now. Is I'm producing like 4 or 5 projects, and I have a deal set up somewhere else that I'll tell you about at another time. It's still too early to talk about it, but I'm working with some really fun pals. One of them is Jack Black on a new project.
That's pretty cool. We actually have a statue of Jack Black right here
We can bring him on for you.
in one of his most metal roles. It's his appearance from Brutal Legend.
Yeah,
there you go.
Legend, yeah, I know.
That's
Death
fitting.
Clock and Jack's character from that did a big ad campaign together. It was really cool. That was the first time we worked together. He also shows up in the Doomstar Requiem as a vocalist in the big rock opera. It was a 50-piece orchestra.
Holy crap.
Other singers were Malcolm McDowell, Mark Hamill.
Oh my God, that's awesome. Wow.
It's pretty crazy. No, we've had really fun cast members on the show, including Werner Herzog for all of season 4. And then, everybody from Metallica, Cannibal Corpse to John Hamm. It's a fun playground,
Well, that is fantastic to hear. I've been a fan of your work for a long time. Like I was just telling Brian that I think that I probably, God, what was it? It must have been 11, 12 years ago. Was probably in the process of failing math class because I was in the back quoting home movies too much.
Oh yeah.
Like with Walter and Perry, like that was the thing that would go back and forth with me and dumb friends, and
yeah.
In spite of your work, I've managed to secure a job somehow in the real world.
Actually,
job in entertainment. Yeah.
I told Max that because he failed that math class, that's why he's doing this show today.
That's right. We don't inspire a lot of math in entertainment. That's true.
Metal and math are like two things that don't really cross over a lot.
Well, there is some metal and math.
There's math rock.
Crossover. Go into the world of Meshuggah, and you'll see what I'm talking about because it's a counting exercise that is actually very brutal and is pretty cool at the same time.
Now, obviously, you are a big metalhead. In addition to your own personal projects, do you have any metal acts you want to recommend to people who might?
You know what? That's something that's been the coolest thing about doing Metalocalypse is that people who normally don't know anything about metal watch the show and go, okay, I'm starting to understand this whole thing. Recommend some people, and I recommend people that have been on the show. Bands like Arch Enemy, going way back to the kind of founding fathers of thrash, from Anthrax to Metallica, going to modern metal. Gojira is an amazing French band. Enslaved is a band I really love a lot. Then there's classic standbys who keep pushing forward and I don't know where they keep finding the anger, but they're still amazing. People like Slayer, King Diamond, narrative form kind of metal. There's so much kind of metal out there. That orchestral metal. There's Dimmu Borgir, who does a lot of really cool stuff with orchestral arrangements. There's folk metal from Finland. There's Fintroll.
I love Fintroll. They're great.
Yeah, there's so much cool stuff and so many different moods. And the cool thing about metal and metal fans is that they get to do something that a lot of people don't get to do, which is kind of access the darker side of our personalities and acknowledge it, and that's fun. And I think that makes you actually a more well-rounded person at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's just fun.
It's cathartic, It
really is. It is. It has a different emotion, but it is an emotionally driven landscape of music.
Well, it's like if there's very few other forms of music where you could just start screaming and people will be like, this is great, I'm totally down with this. Usually they lock people like that up, but in metal you can basically be like, no, I'm doing this to a rhythm here, and this makes sense.
It's hard to make that work with Cat Stevens, though I love Cat Stevens.
Please try that.
I love super, super heavy. My iPod shuffle goes from Cannibal Corpse to David Bowie to Steely Dan to guitar-driven, just Steve Vai to Yngwie Malmsteen to Cat Stevens, to guys like that.
No, I have the same problem, and it makes my walk to work really weird because I'll be walking really fast for 6 blocks. And then all of a sudden, a really slow kind of those sad hungover Soundgarden songs come on.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, now this is the real trudge to the train right now.
That's right. Speaking of Soundgarden, it's really fun, this whole Metalocalypse Now campaign. A lot of people have gotten our backs. So Metallica has gone and tweeted and sent guitar picks to Hulu. Soundgarden has tweeted for us. Anthrax, Mark Maron, who's an actor on the show as well.
I would be terrified to get mail from Anthrax.
Yeah, you don't want mail from Anthrax.
Honestly, all those guys, I think that's really.
How do they even send letters? Because it's oh yeah, the return address is Anthrax. That's just. I know.
Well, you just don't want to open up any envelope that says Anthrax.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
It's awful.
But yeah, no, I think hopefully it's the right kind of terror, but at the same time, we're not trying to threaten anybody. We're just trying to basically, again, set up this blind date and I have basically said I'm not gonna contact anybody. I just want to see what our numbers are until the end of this month. So go to metalocalypsenow.com and sign the petition.
That's kick-ass.
Yeah.
Now you guys also you guys have Death Clock DLC for Rocksmith. Is that right?
That's right. Rocksmith is one of the sponsors of this whole campaign because they see the value in this Metalocalypse audience because those guys love guitars. And there's been a lot of guitar-forward stuff that's happened because of Metalocalypse. One is that I've gotten to design a whole bunch of guitars with Gibson, and I've got a really fun partnership with those guys. I've got more stuff coming out soon, so keep abreast of that news. I don't know if that's a thing that people say.
Abreast?
But keep abreast of things.
It clicks really well. It's very good SEO.
Hey, do me a favor. Start being abreast of things, okay? Strange thing to tell people. Anyway, but there's a Death Clock DLC on Rocksmith that you can that I think you guys are going to be giving away as well. And you can play the songs like "Go Into the Water" and "Thunder Horse" and these songs that are kind of become classics.
Good stuff, man. Yeah. Now Halloween is coming up real soon. It is easily the most metal holiday. Do you have a favorite Halloween memory that you would share with us?
Yes, I will tell you one. When I was probably around 11 or 12, and I'll try to condense this very short, I realized it was going to be my last Halloween before I kind of turned into a teenager and stuff. And so I kind of made a personal goal to eat as much chocolate as I possibly could. And in fact, I didn't even go out trick-or-treating. I just gave, because I realized all the candy was at my house because my mother had, and myself had curated a chocolate and like Twizzler festa of just sugar and gluttony. And I pretty much ate through that whole bag. And the next morning I woke up covered in a rash of like a putrid, disgusting, like a Hunchback of Notre Dame, fat, just puckered, slits for eyes, swollen shut, just looked like some kind of rancorous monster.
Wow.
And I had basically eaten so much chocolate that I had given, my body thought it was dying, so it locked up and decided to create a chocolate allergy, and it said, no more chocolate. And I remember the final part of the story is I went to the doctor, and they gave me some kind of a shot, and they said, here's what's going to happen. You're going to get a shot, you're going to get all cleared up, but you're probably going to throw up, all right? You're going to throw up everywhere. And I said, you know what? The last remaining chocolate that's going to be, I'm allowed to have is still inside of my body. I will not throw up. I will not. So he gave me the shot, and I sat there, and I just breathed and was turning pale and sweating, and I was just muscling backwards and made sure I wouldn't throw up. And I walked out of the building, and right then I lost control, and I threw up over a bed of flowers of like daisies and
Slayer.
Vomited. Like it smelled of wonderful chocolate. It still smelled like beauty, like a chocolate factory. Just splashing like diarrhea all over flowers and everything.
Oh my God.
And I just looked down and I thought, there goes my Halloween childhood. Wow. And that's a true story.
That was the most metal thing I've ever heard.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
You had us doubting for a second. You were like, well, for Halloween, I decided to stay in. And I was like, that's not very metal. But then you threw up on flowers. That's awesome.
It's not as metal. It's definitely brutal. And that's there's a big difference between, it's not tough or anything, but it's a total brutality. And brutal is a big, important part of the metal world.
I think pustulous sores are pretty metal.
I wish I had pictures, because that would just be my ID photo.
Oh.
Just a swollen shut, frog-faced monster.
That's incredible. Wow.
Yeah,
we were honestly on the edges of our seats in the studio right now, wondering if you were going to throw up chocolate or not, and I'm so glad you did.
Yeah.
I wish I had that. I wish I was that kind of an actor where I could just.
Is that acting? Because I know if you can cry on command, that's acting. But if you could throw up on command, I think
releasing some kind of liquid from your body. I guess.
I think that's
that
stunt work, though.
You know, like 15 years later, you would have been like a Vine celebrity.
It's true. That's all I want to be.
Oh.
I bet if you can work yourself up into like some kind of frenzied feeling, you could probably make yourself work up into some kind of disgusted feeling. And I think there was a wrestler who was throwing up on cue.
Yeah, his name was Puke. That was literally what they.
His name Puke?
Well, he had a birth name, but Vince McMahon called him Puke. He was like this college.
Right.
He was like a college football player, and Vince McMahon was like, "You can puke on command, so we're gonna call you Puke." And he's like, "I'm an athlete." And they're like, "No, you're a vomiter."
Yeah. I think I remember that, and I think that was in that documentary Beyond the Mat.
That's right. Great film.
All right. It's a great documentary. Check it out. Yeah.
Oh man, well Brendan, thank you so much for joining us. This is a real treat. Metalocalypsenow.com, and then where do we go for Galacticon?
Galacticon, you can check it out at brendansmall.com, and you can get the Doomstar Requiem too, which is, if you haven't listened to this yet or seen this, we're really proud of the way this whole thing turned out. It was a lot of fun to be able to have an uninterrupted hour-long narrative of nonstop music and lots of different styles of music. It's almost like you were talking about your iPod, just the shuffle, because you can't just have all metal. You have to cut it with a different style of music. So I have stuff that reminds me of Prince, Under the Cherry Moon style stuff, and then ballads, and then scary heavy stuff, and then orchestral James Bond style stuff. So anyway, go to brendansmall.com, but for Metalocalypse Now, go to metalocalypsenow.com and sign the petition if you could.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, dude, thank you so much for coming on. This is a real treat. Best of luck, and I hope Metalocalypse is resurrected to defend the faith and so forth.
Rule the earth with metal again.
Thank you guys for taking an interest, and I appreciate the time you took talking to me.
Of course. Let's get you back soon, man.
All right. I'll see you later.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.
Now, Max, we just heard a great vomit story from one of the creators of Metalocalypse. I have something else that might make you throw up.
Is it a spooky, scary story for
It's
Halloween,
a really
Brian?
spooky, scary story. Now, a study happened recently where they found that 10% of hot dogs contain human DNA and that veggie dogs contain meat.
I'm okay with the second part.
Really?
I mean, I'm not a vegetarian, so that's just kind of like, oh, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the Huffington Post basically said they tried out 75 brands, 10 retailers, 345 samples of hot dogs and sausages. Weird job, by the way.
That sounds like like a street fair that I would go to.
Yep.
Just a regular sausage fest.
There's the old saying, you don't want to know how the sausages get made. Well, we did want to find out, Clear Labs co-founder Mani Garashi told Huffington Post. Researchers found issues with 14.4% of analyzed samples. The human DNA found in the hot dogs is largely the result of hair and broken fingernails.
Oh,
you know what I don't like about that sentence?
That sucks.
Okay, so that's a gross sentence, right? What I don't like about that sentence is the word largely, which means that there's still parts. It wasn't entirely.
See, I'm gonna be upfront here.
Okay.
If I found out that it was just human flesh, be way cooler with it than hair.
Okay, so let's
hair and fingernails is gross. That's really gross.
I'll put it this way. So you have a hot dog. It's this long, right? Hopefully. Let's say like that part of it, 1/10 of it, is made of man. Are you okay with that?
What if they were just like automatically the end was like that, but they didn't tell you which end?
So is that somewhere, or it's somewhere in the middle? No. So what I'm asking you is, what percentage of human would you allow in a hot dog before you're like, I'm done eating hot dogs?
Would I have to know about it?
Yeah. Well, you don't
know
know where it is. Well, okay. So right now we know hot dogs are basically buttholes and lips from the piglets. That's a sentence I said at work today.
Thank you, Brian. It was nice doing a show with you. It was a real treat. No, I mean, like, I eat hot dogs. I like hot dogs. I'm really grossed out by hair and nails. Like, there's a lot of stuff. Like, I'll clean the cat box. I'll clean the toilet.
Yep.
I'll get under the sink and do the weird stuff. I will not go near drain hair. It is one of those things that makes me dry heave, and I will not go near it. I hate it. So finding out that one of my favorite foods, a real American treat that's shaped like bad things, has hair in it is just awful. And do they grind it up enough?
There's a real patriotic man in each bite of that all-American dog. And if you're vegan, you're pretty much screwed. You're eating meat too. You don't even know it. Sorry, dudes.
Fingernails, I'm like, that's real bad, and I'm picturing like if it's real like fingernails, like in Silence of the Lambs Side of the Well style, that's awful. But at the same time, we're always like, oh yeah, gelatin is made from hoofs, and hoofs are like the fingernails of the beasts.
You say hoofs real weird.
Sorry.
Anyway, hot dogs are out to kill you. Keep eating them because they're delicious. Put a lot of toppings on them. Who cares? Speaking of things that are out to kill you but are also awesome, a site called Influencer did this amazing infographic of the 50 most popular candies in America. Now, we don't have world stats. I don't really know how Halloween tracks across the world. But I want to pull up something here.
Yeah.
This is very odd. We live in a weird, divided country, and this is very indicative of elections, gun control, gay rights, every other major issue that we are dealing with in this country that we can't agree on. You can see why. The most basic of things. Now, right here, you and I, we do the show out of San Francisco, California. apparently home of the Lifesavers. I haven't eaten Lifesavers since probably 1991.
Okay, so California, San Francisco, very progressive area.
Yeah.
A lot of rainbow flags.
Yeah. So we want to eat them too.
I was thinking maybe Skittles, but then I realized that it's also interesting because California is also very. There's a lot of bureaucracy and litigation,
Yep.
and people will slip on ice if there's ever ice, and they'll sue each other, and you can't have something without a warning label, and they'll be like, you can't have cane swords, they're dangerous. So Lifesavers is not only flamboyant and fabulous and progressive, but it's also very concerned for its safety.
So now, when you're in the hot Florida Keys, just melting out on the beach, what do you like to eat? Is it a nice, big, melty, seedy Nestle Crunch Bar? Because apparently that's big in Florida.
I'm amazed that Louisiana's into Swedish fish.
Pockets of candy corn all over the country. These are threats against candy. The candy corn people, they're in Texas. They're in other states. Big thing that Max and I realized looking at this map, we do not know what the states are. When you cover them with candies and not the real names of them, big problem here. Another thing, Toblerone, Arizona.
What the hell?
Is your state an airport? Is that that's the only place you eat those? Hawaii Snickers, Alaska Snickers, Hawaii 100 grand?
Okay, that's really interesting to me. 100 grand. Okay. So we've got, what is that? Is that Illinois?
We don't know. This is real bad.
It's like so many people from Illinois are mad at us in the comments. Probably. Yeah. 100 grand is there, and then it's in Hawaii. That's a really odd breakdown. I love 100 grand bars. I think they're fantastic.
I want to pull up the most terrifying thing of all this. Is right next to each other is Oklahoma and Arkansas, M&Ms and Skittles. And one of the meanest pranks you can do to a human being is to dump both of those things in the same bowl. So right on the state line there is a crying kid trying to figure out why he just ate a purple M&M.
You know, that makes perfect sense because they kind of hate each other. I know that Texas and Oklahoma don't get along so hot because of football or something.
Now, obviously, this evokes a lot of debates about what the greatest and worst Halloween candies are. Personally...
Hold on.
What?
What state are you from?
New Jersey.
What, you got Sour Patch Kids? Is that New Jersey?
That's a weird thing,
Doesn't
right?
your cousin work there?
Yeah.
That's
weird.
weird.
She doesn't work there.
I'm from Connecticut. What do we
work
get?
in the Sour Patch.
Reese's Cups?
Yeah, Reese's Cups.
All right.
That's great. I would trade that in a heartbeat.
That's
in a heartbeat. The Airheads people are out of their minds, by the way. That's a summer treat. So we asked Twitter what the worst Halloween candy is, and I gotta say my favorite response we've ever done on one of these questions. Bungie, creators of Halo, said raisins. And you know what? They're totally right. So if you work for a video game news outlet or you're starting a new website and you want a hot breaking story, Halo hates raisins. There's your headline right there.
Bungie doesn't make Halo anymore. There's another hot lead for you.
That's right. Greg Miller says they are not. He says they're not candy, obviously, but he says give me them Mounds bars. I have a problem with anything with coconut in it. I take those things and I throw them back at the house on Halloween, even though I'm an adult. I go to your house, I get your Mounds bars and your Mars, and I throw it back at your house. You sick bastards. Did
you ever hear that story about how actor Rip Torn got arrested for like breaking into a town hall drunk? Like there's those weird celebrity police reports. I feel like I can just imagine a video of Greg Miller being loaded into the back of a cop car and there's just a bag of Mounds and he's like, they're not good. They have coconut in them. All right.
Bandai Namco, they actually got it on it. Also, they said candy corn. Get that nonsense out of here. That's the Pac-Man people right there. Listen to what they have to say. Even though Pac-Man kind of looks like a candy corn.
What's wrong with your candy corn?
I don't know. They're just weird and gross.
Or eyes, whichever. I love that this is the big. I love these discussions. These are great.
Seth Macy says anything banana flavored except Runts bananas, which are weirdly not banana flavored. Yeah. What else is banana flavored? There's really not a lot of us.
Oh no, Laffy Taffy banana is like eating an air freshener.
Yeah, those are very odd.
That tells you a joke.
Now, speaking of Halloween candy, you can't get Halloween candy unless you dress in a Halloween costume. Max and I are dressed as titular Star Wars heroes, Star and Wars.
Yeah.
There's our buddy cop comedy film we're doing.
Race car spaceman and his popular bear dog.
Yep. So we actually found a thing that Google's doing called Frightgeist, which is a dynamic Google Trends on-the-fly list heat map of all the most popular Halloween costumes being purchased in the world, in America right now. Can we check this out?
I love when Google just F off. You know? They just are. There's no practical application for this unless you run a mom and pop Halloween store, in which case Google's probably put you out of business. Yeah. We're going to enter this spooky, scary place. All right, where should I check out?
Let's try Texas first to see what those candy corn loving heathens are buying.
What's hot in Texas? Superhero.
Just any
Anyone will do.
superhero.
They're hot, I guess. Okay.
1980s.
1980s. That's
Texas.
that's broad. That's 10 whole years in which things happened.
M&M's?
Huh. I wonder if they're trying to infiltrate Oklahoma, get up there and dress like their favorite candy. Grey Wolf.
Just a
Really specific wolf.
Yeah.
Huh. Superhero again. Okay. Dorothy Gale. That's Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz, right?
Yeah.
So not only are they really into Wizard of Oz, they're very aware of the lore. They know her last name, and it's not just Wizard of Oz Dorothy. Most people call
Let's
it.
try the trending nationally button over here.
Where's that? Okay.
It's right in the upper right.
Trending
Take a look at
nationally.
that. So wow.
Harley. Wow. Yeah.
The biggest. These are the 6, or we can keep going. The 6 or 7, 10 biggest costumes in the country right now. Harley Quinn is the #1 most popular Halloween costume this fall.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
This is fascinating. I know we see kind of on the nerd scene, we see a fair amount of Harley Quinn costumes. She's, I would say, kind of female Deadpool. I mean, there is a female Deadpool, but in that same kind of sort of like, chaotic neutral sort of attitude. Kind of sexy Joker in another way. But as far as being a nationwide trending costume, that's really surprising because she hasn't really done a big, huge mainstream appearance.
Yep.
And that means that comic book movies are officially, the cart is ahead of the horse.
Yeah.
Suicide Squad doesn't come out until next year.
I mean, she's in the video game, but she's in Batman the Animated Series.
She's in the 3 Arkham games. She's in the animated series. She's in Injustice a whole lot. But that doesn't seem like that's surprising. That's impressive. I guess. I mean, maybe is it like a lot of dudes want to dress up as the Joker, and they're like, babe, you have to be Harley Quinn, and she's like, all right, fine.
I guess I'll do it.
That's interesting though. I mean, I guess what would you compare this to? Maybe I'm trying to think like superhero movies where there was like people dressing up like stuff from it before it was out.
Yeah.
And in kind of mainstream, like 300 didn't have that happen. Like right after 300 came out, there were like entire fraternities dressing up like Spartans.
Yep.
Watchmen, you'd get stuff here and there, but it was mostly kind of after the fact.
Yeah, it never got that big. So the top 5 here are Harley Quinn, Star Wars, superhero, pirate, and Batman. So there's going to be a lot more Harley Quinns than Batman this Halloween, which is kind of a terrifying thought.
I'm okay with that actually. Batman's way scarier. Harley Quinn seems like you can kind of hang out with her. I mean, she's crazy, but probably knows how to party.
That's right.
Batman doesn't know how to party.
No, none of them.
Trending locally.
Batman definitely doesn't know how to party.
Batman can't party. He drinks ginger ale.
That's right. So we asked you on Twitter.
Oh, hold on. This is real interesting. Poison Ivy is around Eureka, California. That's way up there. That's an easy way to make a costume. Is just you get a green onesie and some tights, and then you go out in the woods and pick leaves and glue them to yourself.
We asked you on Twitter, what are you being for Halloween? And Riley Jackson said, I might be Max Scoville for Halloween. Where do you get your Hawaiian shirts? And then IGN responded, Hawaii. Because they're just in a weird mood today. I have
a Jamaican Hawaiian shirt.
Yep.
That was from Jamaica.
Now we did a very special thing because Halloween costumes you need one in the next 2 days, which is basically impossible to do.
It's good that you're prefacing it like this. I want to preface it another way. There are apps for everything, and they're all terrible. There's an app that you use called Sprig that delivers you a salad because San Francisco is just this close to being a place in BioShock. They have apparently Sprig has decided to make themselves a costume delivery service.
If you live in the Bay Area or most major cities, you can use the app Sprig and you can download it very, very quickly, and they will bring you a delicious sandwich or a salad or a wrap or like a nice plate of food.
I can get behind that.
We can get behind that. No, they're trying something new. Recently I got an email from them being like, we're doing drinks. And I was like, cool, I can get a kombucha in the mail if I want. But they basically said, for Halloween, for $25, we will deliver you a Halloween costume. We're not telling you what it is. So we just ordered this today. 2 costumes just arrived. We're going to test them out on 2 of the people we love here very much here at IGN. We have Zach Ryan, who's our producer here on Up at Noon. And we have the legendary host of the Daily Fix, Naomi Kyle.
Hey guys.
We haven't seen these costumes yet. What did you guys get?
We're actually going to find out right now here, Naomi.
Okay.
You want to grab one here?
All right.
Okay.
I love, I'm guessing it's when somebody's having a party and they're like, you have to wear a costume, otherwise you can't come. And then you're like, oh, fine. And you pull out your phone and you order one.
Or it's like someone goes, we're having a, wow.
I'm a ketchup bottle.
I got sexy penguin. I'm going as sexy penguin for
I don't think that's
sexy ketchup bottle.
I don't think either of those things are sexy.
Let's find out.
You guys can make them sexy, but I don't think inherently out of the box.
I really like that hat.
Yeah.
You look like the most postmodern wizard, too.
That was a bold move putting the hat on first. How does that thing go on?
I'm just gonna slip it on.
Oh, you're going in through the head.
Yeah, I'm gonna try a roundabout way.
I love how generic the ketchup is. Like I feel like real ketchup, it either comes in an unmarked bottle.
Wow. Zach, you look great.
Loving it.
This is really awesome.
Cover up your midriff.
Oh, sorry.
This is,
Yeah. Very important to keep your body warm.
You know what's nice about this penguin costume is, for some reason, these are also gloves.
Oh yeah, they're gloves. Yeah. Can I see those? You have penguin hands. Oh, that's weird.
Cute.
Yeah.
All right. I'm all set. Ready for
That's
Halloween.
not canon.
Don't do that. Don't do it. Don't stop doing that. Stop it.
It's a ketchup.
Did you just squeeze your ketchup head?
Yes, you just got ketchup
No, you
all
have
over
to tap
you.
the 57s on the side,
right.
dude.
Oh, real gross.
What I really want is great. This works with fake blood. Like
It does.
Like fake blood is easy to find at Halloween. You could use also real ketchup.
We actually had some on our
which is
desk before.
Kind of year-round.
Just have a little
fake
cup
blood.
of blood, and then like
Just cover
my hands
yourself
are
with
covered
that.
in blood.
Wow, so
and then
if you live in a major metropolitan area and the Sprig app works for you, hopefully they will bring you a Halloween costume for $25, and you can be a funny squeezable ketchup or a fat squeezable penguin.
Or if you want to buy a real bad Halloween costume, you can wait
see
until
through
the
this?
day after
I mean,
Halloween
barely.
and go to your local Halloween
This
store.
is like a real hazard here.
No, you gotta line this up with your nose. That's what. There you go.
Oh, there
That's
you go.
It. Then you can see right past it.
And just
Suddenly this is a much better costume.
some black makeup to cover your face. Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
So check out Sprig. They will bring you costumes. Man, thank you guys so much. Be careful walking out of here. Do you have flippers or anything? They're gone. Wow. Mikey, that's at Turtle Light, says, I'll dress up as the Arkham Knight and go visit PC gamers' houses for candy. Oh, man, that's cruel. That's real cold.
That's funny.
Mikey,
I like that.
You're a dirty dog. You're really getting in there. He's really just messing stuff up.
Yeah. Did you guys hear about that? That's real sad. That they had to delay the whole PC version. Well, they didn't delay it. They released it and then it was broken, so they withdrew it, recalled it.
That's
and
right.
They released it again. It's still not working so hot.
Now, Max, what was your worst Halloween memory? What was the worst thing that's ever happened to you on Halloween?
Okay. I've had some bad Halloweens. I always get kind of moody around the fall and the winter time. It gets darker out and it's kind of just
and you have to
kind
go
of
to
crappy.
school.
Yeah, it's like a weird time of year for me. One year I think it was that last Halloween as a kid. I think I was 12, and it's like that's being very generous with the term kid, but like really, you know, I was a late bloomer. I was still into like kid stuff, and so. Actually, I was probably more into kid stuff, so I decided to dress up like the Pokemon Hitmonchan. Do we have a picture here? I need to pull that up myself. But yeah, it was an okay costume. Let me see if I have this here for you. I should have this in front of me, but I'm bad at things.
No.
It was very much that coming of age time period.
Yeah. You were coming of age out of a larger body.
I was a heavier boy then. This is me in my Hitmonchan costume. The thing that was really just...
Is that your real stomach?
Yes.
You didn't put like a leaf bag in there?
I didn't put a leaf bag in my shirt, Brian.
It looks like you put like 6 or 7 wet pumpkins in there.
I didn't put any wet pumpkins in my
Are those your real tree trunk legs? Are you wearing like
so
wraps around your legs to make your...
You can't really see this.
No, you can see it. You can definitely see it.
You can't really see it. I'm also wearing tights.
Oh, really?
And I don't know why. Like, I think that we looked at a picture of
Maybe
Hitmonchan, and I was like, my legs are too white. I have to get brown tights to have orange legs like Hitmonchan. Yeah. So we had to go to a dancing supply store, and I remember they were like, I don't know if any of our tights will fit this boy.
So wait, did you have to wear boxing gloves the whole night? Is that sweat on your belly?
I don't know what that is. I think that was one of my mom's old shirts. It's a bad picture, but it got worse because I went out in this costume. I went out in the world wearing it that I made, and I was with some friends who were like a grade or two younger, and they were I think they were also Pokemon, and we were like, you know, running around trick or treating and stuff, and of course I'm like a foot taller than everybody. Can we take this photo
down now?
I don't think it might be stuck.
I don't think it's stuck.
It's I don't know why we'd take this photo down, but yeah, like we went trick or treating around, and I remember it was one of those nights where like, and you see this in like kind of in coming of age stories, you see this like Freaks and Geeks and stuff, where it's just like everything goes wrong, and you wind up just being sad in your costume, and that totally happened because the kids I was trick or treating with, they ran into some of their classmates who were like kids who were younger than me. And they wound up bullying us. And I got bullied by kids younger than me in my Pokemon costume. I dressed up like the most athletic fighting Pokemon.
That's real.
And I was out of shape and then I was bullied. Which is the opposite of being an athlete Pokemon who fights things.
It's really dark. Okay, so
what about you?
I can top that. I have a way quicker, way more embarrassing one in some ways.
I don't think so.
When I was in first grade, my family didn't have a ton of money, and I wanted to be a character for Halloween, and I didn't know what I wanted to be exactly. My mom said, you know, pick your favorite character, and I'll make you the costume. I'll make it for you. And I was like, that's very sweet. My mom was like, she got her old sewing kit out and everything like that. So I was like, I want to be a superhero, but I also want to be an animal. And she was like, what do you want to be? And I was like, I want to be a superhero called Super Leopard. So my mom made me a costume out of like this crappy cheetah print, and then she put a cape on it and had these dumpy ears that were kind of tilted to the side. So I was Super Leopard for Halloween, except the problem was I went trick-or-treating for like 4 hours straight, and the zippers that she put into it, since she built them in herself, got stuck in the stitching, and I had to pee really bad. So I came running back to the house, and the door was locked. And I was stuck in this costume, so I peed all over the side of the leg of the Super Leopard costume. So Super Leopard had urine all over his pants.
I feel like that's pretty accurate to how Super Leopard would behave in real life.
Anyway, Up at Noon challenge is here, and for this time we decided to kill a bunch of horses in Assassin's Creed Syndicate because apparently that's a trophy or achievement you can get. Let's see how we did.
Welcome, everybody, to the Up at Noon challenge.
Don't make me do this.
You're going to have to do this. I'm making you do something you hate.
No.
We found out that there is an achievement / trophy in Assassin's Creed Syndicate that is called What is Wrong with You? And that achievement is unlocked by shooting 5 horses attached to carriages in the face and making it so that the carriage flips over, because apparently that's how it works. If you think about it, a horse is sort of like the tire of the carriage, so it makes a lot of sense. I don't think just shooting him when he's standing still is going to work. In any case, I'm going to make Brian shoot a lot of horses. You got
that was
5.
horrible.
That one doesn't count. I'm putting 5 minutes on the clock. 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, God. All right. So, wait, the horses have to be moving?
Yeah, they have to be running. It's not going to just... the carriage isn't going to miraculously flip over.
Oh, man, this is bad. Okay.
I will be impressed if you...
Well, this is a 2-horse one. Oh, you're awful. I don't want to do this anymore.
Is he dragging the other man behind him? Yeah.
This is very uncomfortable.
You have to.
I don't know if I'm gonna get this. They're really shooting me a lot.
You have to flip one carriage.
Come on!
You're doing not great so far. I'm gonna be.
What the hell was that?
You desynchronized, because it turns out that your ancestors never did that. Do they still do that in this game? I don't think they do.
What?
Where they're like, oh yeah, Jacob's ancestors never shot people in the face, or
oh yeah, I don't know what sort of narrative they
don't eat that haystack. That's disgusting.
Desmond's ancestors used to shoot horses in the face. Apparently, this is a nightmare. You know, I really like horses. They're a really cool animal.
I don't think these games are about Desmond anymore. Anyway, yeah, you're bad at this shooting horses. It sucks there's no horses in here. You can shoot some of them, but they make you load up the whole game again.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, you got 4 minutes left. They
4 minutes.
Make a lot of horses flip.
All right,
in that
let's
time,
get back
Brian.
in there. Get back in time for the. Are they going to give me all my bullets again? I had fresh new bullets that I bought.
We just went and bought some fresh cartridges, delicious powder.
All right,
you got 10 whole bullets.
There's no horses around here.
Sure there are. They're all over the place. They're probably in that courtyard in there.
In this graveyard?
They're over here in this funeral.
Oh,
they're holding a funeral for the horse you shot. Yeah, these are not horses.
I like to go to funerals and keep people on their toes.
Mug people at a funeral, that's pretty bad. Yeah, so you want to probably get out to the road.
I'm trying to get out to the road.
All right, just so you want to definitely get out probably more towards the road.
Okay, there's the road.
There's a horse. Look at that guy there. Maybe you can scare him and then shoot him while he's running. Is there a way to clap?
Well, he's not there.
Maybe you have to. Maybe you could start the carriage going.
Okay,
oh, here come a couple.
See, I got these dual. These
Why don't
are all
you
these.
shoot one of them and then see if you can knock the other one while he's running? See, there's that guy. Apparently didn't scare him one bit. That just made a man fall out of the thing. This is harder than we thought it was.
Oh my God, this is so unsettling.
Maybe if you got in a carriage, can you shoot out of the carriage while you're riding one?
Yeah, we could try that. Let's try that out. This will be my horse du jour.
What I like is that this isn't like a thing that we thought up because we're jerks. This is something that somebody at Ubisoft was like, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's make them shoot the horses on the carriage.
It doesn't look like you can shoot while horsing. Entering an unstable area, really? What tipped you off?
People throwing their bathroom departments out of the window.
So bad.
This is great watching you do this. It's really, I feel kind of bad just fumbling.
Ghost ride the
constantly.
horse. Here we go. Come on.
It's real hard.
How did he live?
I have to do it in probably when they're. Oh, the constable is here. Well, now they can't drive away.
This is really, really unfortunate.
Yeah. You got 1 minute and 50 seconds left. So far, you've done none of the things we attempted to make you do.
I shot that man.
It's really bad.
Hold on, here we go. Here we go. Oh, wow, it's real hard to do that. That's a fast horse. Get over here.
It's probably also because we're just at the very beginning of the game. Not a lot going on here.
Does it have to? Do you have to get them while they're moving real fast?
I think that's the idea, Brian.
There we go.
That just scared him a lot, and now the horse is probably bleeding on the road.
I'm out of bullets.
Wow, you ran out of all your bullets.
Yeah, you only get
1 minute and 16 seconds left to kill 5 horses and make them flip over their carriages. Yeah, you're not great. I don't know what.
This is so unfortunate.
This is really unfortunate. I love that. I mean, you. Yeah.
Get away from me.
Out of way.
Oh, let get little horses over here. I have such a good time
Crumble
playing.
me tiptoes, Jimbly Blump is gone all
Get away from me.
lumps. Get up in that, get in that little carriage. Maybe they'll shoot the horses for you. Yeah, so this is the Up and In challenge. You got 28 seconds to shoot 5 horses in the head. And
I have
make them
no
flip over a
guns.
carriage.
Get away from me.
Me or the game?
No, I mean both, but
Can you knock off that man's top hat at least?
Something
Go
bad
chase
happened.
down that man with a top hat. See if you can knock it. Oh! Oh, is that a different carrot? What?
I didn't do that
That
one.
might have been someone else.
God, that guy got really hurt.
10 points for Hufflepuff. Get that top hat. Yeah, get some. See how many top hats. What?
What was that?
What on earth was that?
Wow, look at these guys I'm carrying around. I'm trotting these old guys around on my horse cart.
So
look at
you
that,
did not
Flappy
do
Boys.
Any of the horse flips. For those of you watching at home, this is in fact a real achievement. If you have this game, let us know how much fun you had doing this achievement.
Oh, that guy lost one of the passengers.
What is wrong with you is the name of the achievement. It's when you make the horse carriage flip a bunch. Brian is...
Hold on, I'm going to crash this thing real hard.
You're beating a dead horse.
I'm going to crash this thing real hard. Here we go. Here we go. Oh,
Can you
man.
drive off a bridge or something?
No, they don't let you do that in this game. They're afraid of letting the horses drown.
Well,
Man,
you sure
those
showed
guys.
those boys. Yeah, you're just...
I have so much fun.
You're like a drunk dad sometimes. Look at this guy.
Why is that guy still stuck to my car?
Well, he's impaled on the architecture of the game, I think. So, yeah. This concludes the Up at Noon challenge.
Oh, man.
You can stop anytime you want, Brian.
I used the horse's head to chip away that paint over there.
Yeah. Well, thanks for watching. Now back to the show, I guess.
Horses.
I failed that challenge, but
Yes.
maybe I didn't because I let a lot of horses live, and that's the beauty of Assassin's Creed.
I don't think you know how to play either the challenge or the game, but I'm glad you had fun, Brian. Those of
weird
you who
shooting
watched,
him in
I
the
hope you
face.
guys had fun too. We told you that we had 3 copies of Rocksmith with the Death Clock DLC, as well as signed copies of Brennan Small's album Galacticon. You can win those. I want you to do the following to win those. I want you to go on twitter.com. It is free to make an account on there. All you have to do is jump on there and tweet in one tweet your most metal Halloween memory and use the hashtag #UpAtNoon and the hashtag Metalocalypse now. And then just type those things and we'll cherry pick 3 winners of that wonderful prize package that those fine folks have been nice enough to provide us with.
That's
Brian,
right.
why don't you play us off, Keyboard Cat?
That's right. So if you are very comfortable in your office chair or your couch or wherever you are watching this show, thank you so much for joining us. We had such a good time today. But stick around on IGN or YouTube or Twitch or wherever you are, because next up, Ben the Van Janka and James Big Dog Duggan will showing off GTA's online surprise Halloween update. What kind of spooky, crazy things will Trevor do to a pumpkin? No one knows. But stick around and find out. Be sure to check out those beautiful people right after this. That's right here on IGN or YouTube or Twitch or wherever you are. Thank you so much for watching the show
happy
this
Halloween,
week.
everybody.
Happy
I hope
Halloween.
you guys have a wonderful time.
Be
And,
safe. Don't do anything crazy. You know, I mean, be a little bit crazy.
Next week is my birthday, so I'm bringing a dog on the show.
That's right. Thanks for watching.